All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are back in for our best of 5 grand final between Team SMG and Boom Esports, and it is MLP johnxfire once again. John, I'd hate to bring attention to the the camera issues you've been having, but I saw a rather clever remark about the freezing issues. The chat's calling you John X Freeze now, John. You see, because it's not John X Fire. Very clever. Thought it was very clever, John. This is why I love Twitch chat, because they always come up with the best alternate names.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's rather unfortunate. Can't figure out what's going wrong, but it's one of the things, the magic of Filipino internet. You don't know what's going wrong. Like Tim's would attest to that first game. We had more than 10 minutes of pause coming through, so you know it does happen. Still, first 2 games going the way of Boom. They play amazingly well. Lots of back and forth. SMG were putting up a good fight, but they're 1 game away of losing their chance at being champs here. And Boom is 1 game away of being those champs of BTS Pro Series 8. Of course, in BTS Pro Series 7, Mike, I have to point out, we did get a reverse sweep from GXR up against Fnatic. Fnatic won the first 2 games. They got sweeped by GXR afterwards. We'll see if SMG can repeat that. Channeled some of that spirit GXR had in the last Pro Series, but Boom, they looked amazing. You have the draft on hand. Oh boy, it's a spicy one already, Mike. Enchantress Snapfire for Boom. And that Snapfire, last time we saw it was the mid-snap, a callback to 2020, which doesn't feel too far ago, but it was a year back. That mid-snap, Yopaj made it work. He did itemize for Travel's Blink Yules, and then just work towards like the Daedalus, get his talents up, became a beast. We'll see if they go that route. Tims is also a very mean Snapfire player. SMG for their part, Monkey King Bloodseeker, stable sort of combination. That should be the Monkey King support, but it could be mid 1 Monkey King safe lane. He loves that here as well. So some flexibility on hand. And the Bloodseeker, of course, we've seen Raji play it for basically every game. They could give it to KP as well. It's fairly open, kind of opening here for SMG, so not quite hammered in where they want to take any of these heroes yet.
No, certainly not. I mean, the Snapfire pick, you know, it might be the mid lane Snapfire, but we also know Tims does enjoy playing the hero quite a bit himself, so wouldn't be too surprised to just see it thrown into the support role either. Back to SMG though. Unsurprisingly, they go back for the Bloodseeker, so that'd probably be the +5 Bloodseeker for Raji. The Monkey King, however. Take a guess, John. Is it mid 1 or is it Arfu?
For SMG, I feel like they prefer it on mid 1. Like they have had a lot of success with mid 1 playing a very aggressive Monkey King pause 1. But they have not really done that recently on support. It has felt a lot more impactful. So we'll see if they do manage to get that going. Of course, what I do know here, Mike, is that we are sponsored by N1Bet. Thank you to our sponsor, N1Bet. Deposit with digital wallets and crypto and bet on the Pro Series 8 matches this last set of matches with N1Bet. Enter the code BTSDota on bts.gg/N1Bet and get an exclusive bonus without any wagers. So thanks to them for sponsoring the tournament. Get in on the action if you want. I know that more than I know about the likelihood of SMG taking this safe lane or support. So there you go, Mike.
Thank you very much for that, John. SMG, final ban out now before we can continue on with these drafts. Get rid of the Invoker, so just making sure that they're not playing some mind games here with the Snapfire, and they don't want to have to deal with the Yopaj Invoker, which is absolutely fair enough. SMG, yet to find a win in this grand final thus far. We'll go for the Shadow Demon again. We can assume that's for Arfu, which should mean that is probably going to be a position 1 Monkey King coming out for mid 1. So they're not going to hide it. They're pretty much just going to reveal it off the bat that that's what's going to be happening. I suppose there's a chance they could also still run the Bloodseeker as a position 1, but again, it's highly doubtful. I can't remember the last time we saw mid 1 play pos 1 Bloodseeker. And even then, the hero just doesn't seem amazing in that carry role. What is it, John?
My camera's blurred for some reason. There you go, refocused. So
God forbid we can't see your clear camera, John.
You know, I'm gonna switch off this effect and let's see if that fixes this stuttering issue. You will see my anime profile picture for a bit. There you go. So wow, that looks terrible, but hopefully it works out because at least it will feed. We'll see as the Bat Rider does come through here for Boom now as well. So they've got flexibility. This could be FBZ's hero. Like, we have seen FBZ take that in the past. We just haven't seen it recently because it's been mainly mid hero. So it's still flex with Yopaj, whether or not you want snap or say that Bat Rudder is still fairly open. Of course, it really depends on what you want. I feel like SMG has a good answer with the Shadow Demon, so they've got Disruption to save already. It's not as difficult for them to kind of deal with a lasso. They have some way of breaking it off, and that can complicate things just a bit here for Boom in terms of getting that initiation with the lasso.
Yeah, no, absolutely. FBZ loves that offlane Bat Rider. We've seen it many, many times from the man. By the way, John, it does appear that turning off the effects apparently has fixed your camera. So there you go. Unfortunately, it has made it so your camera now looks like it's from the 90s. But that's all right, John.
Yep.
It's a good throwback, at least.
Yeah, it's a good look with a retro shirt. You know, I'm rocking it. I'll see if I can fix that up. Don't worry, we can.
No.
I will work my magic in the background.
No, I'm very happy having the superior camera for once, John. Please just leave it the way it is.
Buzz off, Mike. Buzz off.
Team SMG, 4th pickup for themselves. 2 more cores to be picked up. Maybe not. They'll go for the Abaddon pickup. Offlane Abaddon? Offlane Bloodseeker? Is that what we're looking at, John?
They could... Huh. For KP? Probably the Bloodseeker. I think we've seen him take that on the offlane a little bit more. So Bloodseeker off, maybe the pause 1 Monkey King for mid 1. Shadow Demon Abaddon supports. I say that, but we've also seen KP actually play the Abaddon beforehand as well. He has such a wide pool of heroes. So it's really hard to hammer in until we see the last pick. But I would prefer... I think I would prefer the Bloodseeker offlane. I think there's more you can do with, say, a Bloodseeker Shadow Demon duo. There, Disruption to Blood Right's a really easy combination to do. You can harass out Palos, apply that pressure, keep going from there. Abaddon Monkey King as a dual lane is pretty strong as well. And once you have a couple of levels up on the Abaddon with the Aphotic Shield and Curse of Avernus, you can just run down, slow them up, Monkey King runs up, get some Jingu stacks going, and you can try to kill off the offlane as well. So lots of aggressive lanes coming out from SMG, and that should help them find a really strong grip in this match compared to their earlier starts in the first 2 games. This is shaping up to be a lot better.
Yeah, no, certainly so. Does also reveal, I mean, going back to Boom Esports, it is probably going to be that mid Snapfire coming out for Yopaj, so we can kind of confirm that aspect of things for this draft. Very, very exciting stuff. Though I've got to be quite frank, I'm looking more forward to seeing how SMG makes their own draft work and who's picking up what, because it is still just so darn open. I think the only thing that looks kind of obvious is the safe lane Monkey King, but even then, it's still up for debate who's going where. Boom Esports, they're going to focus on that mid lane. They'll get rid of the Lina, which is quite respectable considering the Snapfire probably would have a really rough time. They also get rid of the Leshrac, as I can see you've turned some lighting on now, Jonathan. You are... I'm actually really enjoying this because I actually have the superior camera now. I am really enjoying this.
It looks terrible. I just turn off the effects. It never does this.
Oh,
but
John, you don't have to always have the better look, all right? You can give it to me for once.
That's fair.
I know you like farming your compliments from Twitch chat, but my time to shine. Thank you.
Fair enough, Mike. Fair enough.
Team SMG, final ban out. Banning out carries, of course. Palos is the only one left without a hero right now. Unless he's been practicing position 1 Enchantress or something, but I highly doubt that. SMG. Get rid of the Drow Ranger, which is something we haven't seen in a very long time, but I suppose against the draft of SMG it would do quite well for itself. Palos?
I'm surprised.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
All right.
They bring out the Heal themselves. They bring out the Illusions themselves. SMG, they've got Monkey King to maybe deal with that. That's really it. Bloodseeker with Blood Right, I suppose. It's not amazing, but you could try to lock and appeal that way. I wonder how SMG close out. So it looks like we're lacking our Moon Hero. They could try for the Kunkka themselves. No, they go back to Mirana. Okay. So they bring back Mirana. They've got Mirana, Disruption, Arrow combination there. I don't know if they can handle the PL. Like, last time Boom had Kunkka, they had a PA with Battlefury, which PL didn't enjoy. there's nothing in particular the PL doesn't like here. Maybe Monkey King and Wukong's would be annoying. Not a major issue. I guess Mirana does have good magic damage. You could go for a Maelstrom build. And that's about it. So SMG has to play really fast. I think they have to play with that arrow disruption setup and start running and gunning quick, because we are having the Yopaj Snapfire, and it is going to be FBZ in a battery. So that special is there. Let's see if he can pull off the same moves he had yesterday up against the Mirana this time for Moon. Of course, for Moon, having experienced that yesterday, I think he should be aware of what Yopaj tries to do, so he should be more prepared to kind of have to deal with that this time around.
Okay, well, John, I'm going to ask you one last question. I mean, this could be the last time I'm asking during the grand final, but who has the superior draft?
I'd say Boom. I think Boom's lineup is really good for the Phantom Lancer. It has a lot of room to just do what it wants. SMG isn't really set up to punish the Phantom Lancer at all here. Maybe if you can isolate it and get a Rupture off, that could be one way, but there's a lot of weaving in and out Palace can do. They've got the control coming through with a Bat Rider, at least single target control. Tim's on Nyx is their main AoE control, but that kind of balances out, because for SMG, it's also just Boundless Strike, Disruption Arrow, and Blood Right. That's their control. That's it. Not the most reliable as well. I think Boom's just going to be able to get Palace to the point where you can't handle the PL this time, because you only really have a Mirana who can go for Maelstrom, maybe a Monkey King who can go for Maelstrom as well, or a Bloodseeker who can go for Maelstrom. And that's your only answer to PL, just Maelstrom, and I don't know if that's enough.
We'll find out, John. We're going to head into game number 3 of this best of 5. I told you not to keep playing with your camera, by the way, John, because it did start freezing again. So,
okay.
Not only is it terrible quality now, but it's still, it's all right, John. Don't worry, the camera's off now. You can go back to relaxing and not stressing about your camera. It's fine. You were glowing at the end of it,
Probably the internet. It's probably the internet at that point. I'm not sure what's up.
It's all right, John. Don't let it get to you. It's fine.
Yeah.
Must be hard to be that handsome and not be able to show it off.
You wish. Still into the game. Fortunately, no pauses this time, so whatever internet issues we have been experiencing from Boom's end has been sorted. There is a bit of an early smoke from SMG though, Mike, so kind of wanting to use their level 1 spike. They do have pretty good presence early on, especially if they can land an arrow on Moon. They get double wards on mid. Cliff ward and ramp ward. I don't know about that. That's a lot of investment on mid.
It certainly is. We'll have to keep an eye out, see what the idea of that is. Obviously, it's not for the power runes. I guess you could spot the rotations, but you could have gone with the high ground ward there and still been able to achieve that. Maybe they're assuming your Page is going to farm that jungle side. I guess stacks can be made for FBZ on the Bat Rider in that jungle, so perhaps you could just steal them away if you do spot it happening. There's definitely some kind of plan here. I don't think SMG's done that on accident. They've definitely done that for a reason. I'm sure we'll find out as time goes on exactly what the reason is.
I think it's likely that they just want to maintain control of the jungle, prevent stacks being built up for both the Snapfire and the Bat Rider to clear out there, so they can just roam around better, maybe line up for arrows, kind of also preempt the movements that Boom might want, and also clear a better path for Afu to maybe play with that disruption setup onto the Mirana. Of course, we will see lanes break out first. Raji is heading down bot to help out mid one on his Monkey King. They are up against Tims and FBZ on the Bat Rider and Nyx, and it's a tough Bat Rider game for FBZ in general. I mean, you've got Disruption, you've got Aphotic Shield to kind of save, so there's a lot of save from the Bat Rider here, and down the line, I'm not sure how well FBZ can use the lasso, but in lane, it still kind of holds up. Mid one is still a melee hero despite a slightly added range, and that is something FBZ can abuse. Raji's doing a good job though, just pulling the creep wave behind, trying to give mid one as much free farm as he can by just equalizing the lane.
Yeah, Tims will do the same thing though, and they might meet up in this jungle, but no, FBZ not going to allow that, as Raji now still trying to make them clash, and eventually it'll be in the river. So forget the pot lane, it's now the bottom side of the river that we're playing in, as FBZ's trying to back away from Raji, who just keeps charging forward, and that should buy enough time for mid one. Secure his CS just fine here. We'll have a look at the other lanes while we still have a chance as well. Of course, mid lane, you're Page in that mid Snapfire. against Moon on that Mirana. Now, unlike yesterday, I'd say on the Mirana you should have a much better time if you are Moon. As we saw yesterday on the Storm, he had a very rough time. But at least with the Mirana, you have those early charges of leap that should come out at the level 3, level 4 mark. And that will usually mean you can evade that cookie setup from Yopaj. Though I say that, there's one right now into the Scatter Blast. But of course, he just leveled up the leap.
Yep, and that's something we've seen Yopaj do before in the snap. So I think Moon, what we tend to see from him on his Mirana is that he runs up close, uses the leap offensively to line up for Star Storm, and just try to be aggressive that way. I think Yopaj is in a position where he can punish that. So Moon's not going to be as aggressive in this lane. Yopaj is going to be the one trying to apply pressure, put his big nuke in the Scatter Blast. And that should lead to a more equalized laning phase where Botiers will just focus as much as possible on CS, but Yopaj will be the one lining up for the cookie stuns. Easier for him to do that compared to Moon trying to land a bit of an arrow. He's probably just going to be using that arrow for a few creeps, ensuring the CS. We will see if Afu can rotate. I think if you can have a disruption setup, it should be fairly easy to find that Snapfire kill if you want it.
Rogi's still just chasing down Tim's down to that bot lane, not allowing these stacks to happen. So really making sure FBZ's not going to be able to access those stacks. They're not even going to be there, though Tim's does actually still stack it up. That's Impale out onto Rogi. Actually takes the bounty rune as well, so a lot of value here on this Nyx Assassin. And of course, the last lane we haven't managed to talk about yet is the top lane, where you'll see CTM and Palos against KP and Afu. Of course, you mentioned this in the draft, but KP has played a hell of a lot of Bloodseeker, and is pretty darn good with the hero. This time around, not giving it over to Rogi. Because against Palos and CTM, do you think one team has the advantage over the other?
Not necessarily. I think there's some aggression you can play with here on the side of SMG, particularly Disruption to Bloodright, along with a few stacks of the Shadow Poison. You can definitely try to rip into Palos, and Palos has to measure himself out a bit more. There is healing coming through from CTM with Nature's Attendants. He's got the enchant, but he doesn't really have a large camp to kind of play with. Afu's just using his body to block the camp. He's also just preventing that early presence from Ench. So they're mitigating the presence of CTM. They're making it a bit tougher for Palos to find his farm. And Palos is lagging behind KP. So not the best of news there for Boom. As SMG are off to a pretty good start in lane. No kills yet, but slight advantage in farm. They're controlling the lanes a lot better, and they should be able to hit their power spikes a bit quicker.
CTM, that early Centaur out, trying to apply the pressure onto KP. Don't bother even throwing out the stunners. Afu, he actually gets the kill. Didn't realize that's how many Shadow Poison stacks were there onto Palos, but apparently there was quite a lot, and in the end they secure first blood on their Shadow Demon.
Pretty big kill to get. That was around 560 damage magical. So it just burned right through Palos. Managed to get that kill, slow down that tough lane for the PL already. And this could be an issue for Boom, because we talked about this the last time we saw the Phantom Lancer. It doesn't flash farm well. I think, for the most part, at the least, you're facing off against a Monkey King.
Mid lane, John Moon. Quick TP up. Oh, he's just barely going to make it. I don't think that last glob connected, as the TP was there in time, and Moon, quick thinking, does get himself out of there.
Yeah, it is giving Yopaj a little bit more space mid, but you don't give the kill. So Yopaj isn't going to be snowballing as hard. Still, he's got a lane under his complete control. He's ahead in CS. He's got the level advantage as well. And that should lead him to be able to hold his own here, as we do have the pause. Yopaj this time with the internet connection issues. I remember reading, again, that he was looking for a new network provider.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that has helped.
Did he get
Hopefully
one?
it has. I think he did. I think he switched over to the same one Gabby's using. Not going to name drop.
Okay.
Because I don't want to, sponsor them without getting my own share. Yopaj doesn't get to have all the fun. But yeah, he switched to the same network that Gabby's using.
Okay.
And Gabby wasn't very happy, so
well.
It is what it is.
What do you do? Yeah, I know the feeling. To all the people out there in the Philippines suffering with the crappy internet, don't worry. About 10 years ago, that was us in Australia. Not so much anymore, but we know how it feels.
It happens. At the least, you only have to worry about the spiders now, Mike. Still, you know, SMG off to an early start. First blood on their hands, less than 1k lead. Boom playing a slower game. I think they're playing a much more measured game. They just want to hit these farming spikes, want to hit the leveled spikes first. Not really force the issue out all too early on.
Nice little gank there, though, from FB's onto FBZ from Rogi and mid one as Moon. Mid lane, he's been caught out. So you lose FBZ down bot, but in the meantime, Moon ends up dropping, and Rogi, he was too busy down bot to help out Moon in the mid. Does eventually TP, but might just have to run all the way back to the fountain now.
It's a pretty big kill for Boom to find. They are diving up top, though. Palos.
FBZ is going to pop the Firefly. Palos, no, he's going to die. Arfu again. With that Shadow Poison damage, is going to have enough, and now Rupture out on FBZ to make sure he cannot pursue this support Shadow Demon. Arfu doing some fantastic work thus far.
Yeah, they're just keeping FBZ at bay. This Bat Rider is going to, again, we talked about in the lane, but he has a tough game. 2 direct counters, 1 indirect counter with a Rupture on KP. It's so hard to just look for an opportunity to build up, to run around and dominate the lane, and they're just keeping that aggression on Palos.
Arfu, though, going to be targeted now. Palos doesn't actually get the kill. CTM does take it with the Enchanted Creep. So, bonus gold going the way of the Enchantress, but I'm sure for Palos, he just feels good knowing Arfu's dead for the next 10 seconds. Definitely been a pretty big thorn in his side.
Just buying that space for Palos does give him some leeway. Yopaj, solo smoke up top. They still want to play in this lane.
Mortal Mosquito is up and immediately just pops it. Where are we going? Onto KP. No cookie setup necessary here. However, KP, he's going to survive through all the damage output. And in the end, perhaps they did need it. They just won't have enough globs connecting to actually get through KP's HB pool.
Yeah, it's a bit optimistic. I don't think you really have the support on hand to secure that kill unless you use the enchant for slow.
Moon. Disruption's there in time, but that's going to allow Tims to get an impale if he wants to, but you don't have the follow-up now. So Moon will have his teammates around to help out. In fact, he goes for a final leap in. Back in on Tims. Do they have the damage? It turns out they do. He activates the double damage rune to ensures it. And 4-2 is the scoreboard now for SMG.
They are getting that early start they need. They're keeping Boom in check. They're winning out in every lane. And the one issue is that Moon's maybe lagging a bit behind in farm in comparison to Yopaj, but he is starting to open up the map more. They're forcing aggression on mid, and they're just camping mid lane. They just want to keep applying pressure on Yopaj.
They do. Impale's not going to land, but Cookie will be there on Rogi. Still Arfu. He's going to make his presence known, and that's a nice tank there from Tims on the arrow. Make sure Yopaj doesn't cop it, and Tims, he even has the dust ready. So Arfu should certainly just be dropping here on that Shadow Demon. In fact, Palos wanted to come in and claim the kill, but now Yopaj takes it. Just keeps missing out on all the kills here on the peel.
Yeah, I can't fault him for trying to be cheeky and stealing something for himself, but he's got a lot of jungle space to play with. Still catching up nicely on that Phantom Lancer. Still behind, though. Bottom fall the chorus, right behind FBZ. Not a good spot to be in. And speaking of, FBZ just gets unceremoniously taken down once more.
Well, they're doing a great job down the spot lane here for SMG, John. Mid one, he's top of the net worth board, and he's found his first kill of the game.
He's going for Battlefury as well, Mike. We haven't seen that on Monkey Kings in a very, very, very long time. Not even from mid one. Mid one, last time we saw him play this was like Echo Saber Desolator. So the Battlefury build-up, it will help dealing with illusions. Perhaps it is just to kind of have a handle on the Phantom Lancer, ensure that they have the wave clear to handle that hero.
Fair enough. Why the hell not? Tims. Let's impale out onto Moon. Let's get the, well, it's not even the illusion route. Yopaj. Show back up in the mid lane. Does have the Mortimer's Kisses available. Trying to go after Moon with that cookie, but again, it's very hard to catch the Mirana. So in the end, he will have to just back out of there and maybe get a bit of a reset. It is a bit of a slower start to this game number 3. And KP, I suppose he could try to set up on CTM at this top lane with a Rupture, but even then, with the Untouchable already up, CTM's level 7. Now, this man's just been farming jungle this whole time. He's hit the level 7 mark. There's this pos 5 Enchantress. That's going to be problematic because you haven't got the greatest ways to actually kill him.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. CTM's way over leveled. He's even ahead of Tims, although he will try.
Blood right, Rupture out. He's going to try and heal up, and now the globs are coming in. Yopaj will be there to back up his teammate, but the arrow right on target from Moon will put an end to it. But they do not secure the kill onto CTM. He's going to be able to survive. Oh, no, he can't. Starfall is there, Afu. He lands the last Shadow Poison to make it a 5-stack. And Moon cleans up with the Starfall.
They get a very important kill on their side there for SMG. Important in the sense that it opens up the push up top. They managed to punish a bit of an over-leveled support, so that's a nice EXP bounce for Moon. And they can start getting on with push, although down mid.
Yeah, Boundless Strike only connects on the Snapfire, but still mid one. Very, very strong at the moment. Is happy to keep this fight up as Tim's now cooking forward. Yopaj wanted to get him to the low ground, but he turned the wrong way. And they should eventually have this Nyx Assassin kill, or maybe not. Spike Carapace was there in time, and well, the Primal Spring does nothing.
It's a missed opportunity, but they do stave off in the mid push while they're getting that top tier 1 shoved in. Still a bit of a struggle with back and forth on objectives, but Boom have also cleared out space to clear out the bot tier 1. They're going to be able to go for an even 1-for-1 trade if their top does fall. That's more map space for Boom to play with, some space for FBZ to try and recover. He does have travels up on the Batrider, working towards Blink and 4-stat. So he just wants to be able to jump in, get the lasso off, and get control. The issue for FBZ is, who do you lasso first? Has to be the back line. Is it the Abaddon or the Shadow Demon? Even if you catch one of them, the other one can just cancel off the lasso anyway. So still have yet to see how well FBZ's impact on the Batrider can really be in this game, where he has like 2 counter picks on hand.
CTM.
Where are you going?
Gonna see Arfu. Purge is out. They have the sentry for the Moonlight. In the end, CTM, he might be able to turn here. Arfu, it's raining fire again. He'll disrupt. I don't think it's going to help him for too long. Because in the end, Tims, he'll be the one to take the kill on the Nyx. It's that classic mistake of thinking you can deal with this Enchantress. But again, CTM is almost level 9 now. And with the Glimmer Cape up already, and the Fluffy Hat as well, he is a very, very tanky boy. It's the Rupture up Yopaj instead. He's tanking through it as well. Glimmer Cape's there. It's not going to help too much. They should at least find KP though, but no. Yopaj is down, and now CTM. Maybe this time they can take him out, and they will. In fact, Tims, he joins the fray. They had the sentry down, but they won't have the follow-up dust. So he's going to make it out.
Still a good set of kills coming out from SMG, again, punishing Yopaj, keeping the side of Boom down, building up on their own momentum. The draft of SMG, we talked about it having to play a bit quicker. They are hitting those spikes early on, 8-4, 1k lead their way as they take complete control of the top jungle. We have yet to see Boom sort of play like a team here. They have been taking skirmishes as 2 or 3 heroes, but the rest of the time they're just trying to get farm on other cores. Maybe Palos is playing bot on the PL, does have the defusal up. So it's a slight power spike for the PL, but he doesn't have the stats to play with, and SMG are smoking into him.
Yeah, I mean, Palos, he's been struggling. The Diffusal Blade not going to help him out if he does get disrupted. Is Moon going to jump in? Palos, they'll find the real target. Boundless Strike there. Mid one should have enough and does. In fact, Arfu's the one to take the kill once again on the Shadow Demon. Palos, again, just continuing to struggle here on this Phantom Lancer. As SMG continue to dominate this game 3.
Yeah, and again, they're just keeping that aggression. They understand how Boom wants to play this. They want to play it slow on Boom's side. They want to sit back, farm, hit certain leveled spikes with Yopaj. You know, start to build up in that core snap, start to build up in the Phantom Lancer, overwhelm with illusions, but they're not giving room for Boom to do that. SMG's just constantly working this map, applying pressure, cutting off the cores, and ensuring smooth farm doesn't come true. They might need to start focusing on objectives to really make that happen, but for now they're doing a pretty good job in trying to cut them out.
Tim's going to scout up for the team. To the high ground they go. Arfu is going to get caught out. Globs are in again, but Disruption's going to make it just in the nick of time. but he will still end up dropping. So they'll start with one support kill. SMG moving into CTM. Gonna strike out, but he's got the heal up. He's just gonna walk away. In fact, they'll turn around mid one. He's been lassoed, but no, the aphotic shield is there. Rogi, he'll save the day, but for how long? Tims, no, he'll have to TP out as well, but that'll be no good. Rod of Atos to hold him down on that Nyx. Is FBZ? We're actually kiting in and out. KP, get aphotic shielded up and is gonna be able to back. Mid one, back in, but being very careful as CTM, he's stuck around. They will be able to at least get another kill onto CTM, and SMG still finding the positive trades here.
Yep, they're still making it work. It is only 2 support kills. So Boom, probably not feeling that bad about losing the 2 heroes. They are still getting space out for the cores to find farm, to keep building up. And SMG, they're not pulling ahead in a big way yet. It's a 1k lead. It's rather even all the way from Moon down to Palos. The only one that's breaking away is mid one with the Battlefury. So in that sense, there's still a lot of room for Boom to hit some item timings here to build in and counteract what SMG's trying to do. 4 staff for FBZ is almost done. And he can try to play with the Blink Lasso, but again, it's just a difficult game for Batrider to do so. Our Phantom Lancer, Palos, is saving up for the Yasha. More than likely looking for the Manta style, perhaps S and Y if he feels like the stat resist is more important. And just more to play with. Tims does scout out Rogi.
As of the borrowed time though, so Impel not going to do too much. Cookie off the mark as well. Nice little escape there from Rogi, and let's get some deep wards down before he has to leave. And an immediate smoke up now. SMG, they know exactly where the Snapfire is. Tims, he's going to make his escape, not knowing what's coming. Yopaj, he's going to make it in time as well. He's already past that tier 2 tower. Not really much they can do to catch him out now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Managed to run through in the side of SMG. Still staying in that smoke though. Looking around the top lane, but don't really catch out the side of Boom. Again, they're working on the right side of the map. They've just got Palos sitting down bot basically this entire time. Still building the farm up. For SMG, I feel like this aggression is really good, but they need to start thinking about objectives. Mid-tier 1 still standing is a bit of an issue. It makes it a bit hard to control the top jungle. After that mid-tier 1, I think the tier 2 top has to be lined up, and then you can really take control of top jungle, take control of Roshan, cut off Boom's economy, and go from there. But Boom, they're going to try something. They've got to smoke up themselves now.
That they do. Counter smoke out, line being drawn through that Radiant jungle. Into the mid lane, Moon would be a great target if they can find it. There's your lasso out, Rogi, he wasn't ready for it. The aphotic shield's not there in time, and Moon's gone. Rupture is going to be used up on Tims. Mortimer's kisses as well, expended here from Yopaj to try and protect his teammate. But eventually Tims is going to die. A 1-for-1. Certainly in the favor of Boom Esports, at least for now. But SMG looking for more, or maybe it's the other way around as KP gets jumped. But now mid one onto Yopaj with the jump away with the Cookie mid one. He's losing a lot of HP. Palos is going to back out. It's FBZ now being targeted here by a Monkey King. Boundless strike out. They might have the damage, but no, he outruns the Monkey. They can't kill him off. They're falling one by one here, SMG. They're going to drop. It's a full team wipe. The tips out from CTM.
Oh boy. Boom make it work. They get an actual good initiation with a lasso. They manage to isolate Moon, get the big kill, and they just juke in and out. For SMG, this kind of boils back to an issue we pointed out in Draft Mike. The control issue. They have Boundless Strike, they have Blood Right to an extent, they have Disruption Arrow. They don't have the best hold for wide AoE spells, they don't have the best ways of locking in something like the Phantom Lancer. So if he manages to zip in and out, and even a Batrider as well, if he manages to abuse his flying movement, you can't really keep him down. Like, the options for SMG are just not there, and until maybe something like an Atos comes true, and is already one in KP, it's just difficult for them to get AoE control. Like, Boundless Strike is it. And it's not a particularly long stun on Boundless as well. So I think if Boom can abuse that lack of control, just constantly weave in and out, they can really start wheeling this game back more.
CTM, he's baiting in the mid lane, I think. He'll die in the mid, but look who they're going to catch out the top lane. It's all a distraction play here from CTM, and he's not even dead.
Don't be mad.
Oh, he's not even dead. That's a real problem for SMG. I mean, oh boy, that's an
Radiant's
issue.
bottom tower is under attack.
Yep, it really is. You love to point it out, Mike. Untouchable. You can't press them down. They don't have the best magic damage as well in SMG if you think about it. They've got Rupture, they've got Shadow Poison stacks, they've got Demonic Purge, but you don't really want to waste that in the support, so they have limited burst options to punish and an inch, and that's just where all the value is coming. They do catch FBZ out, though.
Yeah, nice catch from KB. Purge is going to be there. They just really want to make sure they get this kill. FBC, he's not even moving. He knows he's dead. Because he was ruptured up, so he can't really move, but bot lane, mid one. They may have seen him jump through that tree line. Primal Spring in. Again, CTM probably is not the target you want to start with, but he's the only target they can see right now. Mortimer's Kisses are going to start flying in onto Arfu. Zone him out on the Shadow Demon as mid one. He tries to get to work, but who are you going to aim? Nobody's within that Wukong's command. He'll keep jumping through now onto Tim's, but again, he's just being juke and jived around. Blood Riot's going to be there with the run of Atos. Cookie trying to help at Tim's. He'll just run his own way out. As now Palos, he'll make his way back in onto KP, but again, he's just kiting in and out right now as the Impale is there, but mid one. He's still safe into the tree line. They are surrounded. They've got Palos. SMG, they do eventually get it done, as they'll even find Tim's. Have they found a third? Well, CTM, of course, he's still around the area. And eventually, they'll get him. FBZ, he tried to help out. In fact, mid one, he wants more. Onto Yopash he goes, but the Cookie up to the high ground. No, the tree cut. Gonna stun him up through the BKB. Yopash, very quick thinking there. Does get himself out.
Yeah, just heads up plays coming through here from the side of Boom. They still lose out in a lot, and dropping Palos, dropping their two supports again. Network lead disappears, and SMG's on an equal playing field now. You still have mid one as number one in net worth by about 800 gold. The Monkey King is starting to show the effectiveness of that Battlefury in terms of clearing out the Phantom Lancer, and I think Boom has to be careful about staggering these fights. They don't want to stream in one by one. You need to work it as a team, maximize their mobility, force SMG to almost fight in two areas. You know, split it up into a front and back line, and just abuse both sides with how slippery you are and the lack of control that SMG have.
16 to 11. That net worth swing just back and forth between these two teams. Mid lane Tim's in position. In fact, there's your lasso, but immediately the disruption's out. Rogi, Moon, BKB out. Nice boundless strike as well. Mid one, he locks down two. Run of Atos is there. They should have a second in the form of Tim's, and eventually they'll get it. Another nice couple pickups here to get this team fight started as Yopash. He doesn't have a way to run out. He's been ruptured. He might get KB, but it is going to cost him his own life. And now SMG, they've got that mid-tier 1 tower. They might be off to a very strong start to the mid-game. Palos, he's been scouted. They'll try to go after CTM first, and they should have him. Once that Glimmer Cape wears off, or maybe not, he's fine.
Just buying space out for Palos to keep farming up that ancient camp. Highly effective there from Boom. High efficiency, I mean, from Boom. But they are losing that grip now. SMG is still within less than 1k gold. The farm distribution's rather even across the board, with Palos being the big difference between Palos and mid one, about a 1k difference there. So the Monkey King is starting to work that battle for you quite well, using that damage output strongly. Palos is about to save up for the Scotty at least. He's one ultimate orb down, just 2 parts to go. And once you do have more stats on the PL, that's when it can start to pop back in. We saw that coming through from mid one himself, where once that PL was tanky, it can be hard to deal with illusions, even with a Battlefury, even with the physical damage output of a Monkey King. I think the PL still has room to dance around there. You just have to stall for that point and boom. So the important matter is just slow down the game, prevent your objectives from falling, save your tier 2s for as long as you can, And eventually you'll hit these level spikes as well. Like Yopaj, level 20, when he hits that with BKB Daedalus, that's when it gets scary. That's when Snapfire's physical output skyrockets and, well, you're going to have to face the Rat Grandma with shotgun.
Radiant structures.
What's the machine gun after that, John? The shotgun's right now. Roshan gonna get started. Mid one, he does have the Ags up now, so a pretty big power spike on the Monkey King. They'll rush the Roshan pit, and there's no vision here from Boom Esports. They have no idea this is happening. They may be able to take a wild guess though, as all of SMG are missing across the map. And that Roshan, first one of the game, is going to go the way of mid one. So another great pickup here from SMG's end of things. And with this Aegis up, they should be able to continuously just keep applying that aggression.
Now, they can just take the risk now with mid one up front. They can try to force the issue onto those tier 2 towers, look for the push, and that's what they're going to do. Line up for top, take control of the top jungle. The side of Boom already found a bot tier 2 though, so in the end this is a bit of a tower trade, but not one that SMG minds at all. It's still going to be a big objective. We talked about them starting to melt some of these towers. They will get that done. Boom are still keeping pressure on the tier 3 though. Yopaj is shoving in the creep wave, doing what you can, knowing that there's not going to be a TP response for a while, and just working the map as best as they can. They know they can't quite face up against SMG yet, so might as well just work the map while you are able to.
They do force the rotations back down bot. In fact, oh, Yopaj, quick blink out, but Arfu gonna have a look around. Won't be able to find him. Close call there for our Snapfire. CTM still just farming the jungle himself. Almost at the level 15 mark now. It's going to be a little bit tankier if he does go for the extra attendance, but also opt for the damage if he's feeling a little bit cheeky. Arfu, not going to spot out CTM. He'll barely get out with his life intact.
Is under attack.
You can see mid one, he is working now on towards that Eye of Skadi timing. Make him a lot more frightening on that Monkey King. How's Palos going? He's doing the same thing.
It's almost there. He's been saving up for a while. 2 orbs up, just about 90 gold away, so he's going to have it slightly earlier, and that's the stat padding we're looking for on the PL. This should allow him to really run around, get a good slow off, get control off. While all of this clumping up is happening from SMG, Yopaj is still shoving in bot, although he will TP back. We want to defend him.
Lasso out, the 4-staff's there, but disruption. Arfu ready with it. Still, Impel is out mid one. He gets the Aphotic Shield now, and they do take down FBZ. KP has also dropped though, mind you, and there goes your Aegis. Mid one, he's very deep right now. He needs some help. BKB out. He'll pop the Wukong's command, and he'll go right for the TP. That's all he can do at the moment. Though I can't say the same for Moon, who did get caught up by Tims. And that's going to be a 3-for-1 in the favor of Boom, and they easily defend that high ground.
I mean, they still get a lot of value from the lasso of FBZ. Even if it's disrupted midway, it drags mid one back far enough that they can manage him. They can do damage to him without worrying about the rest of the heroes in their control. And it gives an opening for Boom. So they still abuse the Batrider pick, and they still abuse the PL. Like, with the Skadi up, it's hard to melt him down. With the build-up you have here on mid one, like Battlefury Ags is nice. Doesn't give you the burst damage to deal with the PL army with a lot of HP. And that is something that Paulus is showing us now. So, Boom, take a good defense, clear out the Aegis. They get the lead back there. We tweak a marginal lead, not the biggest lead in the world. But now they don't have to worry about an Aegis. They don't have to worry about SMG on the high ground. They can look to retake some control on the map, force their own issues on the opposite side of the river if they want to, and keep the steady build-up. This is still time where Yopaj is hitting level 20. He's got it up, Mike. So there you go. Little Shredder with his attack damage. BKB up. Crystallis Daedalus next. And that's when Yopaj will really pop off with a hero. Not that he hasn't yet, but, you know, it's when it gets really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you're still going to need that crit. He will start working on towards it now. Looks like he does want that silver edge, but I do agree. It does get a bit entertaining now with the Snapfire. Though I say when it's 25 is the most entertaining because you get the 3 times the little shredder. Still top lane, FBZ been caught out with the purge out. He can't force staff away, and even Tim's drops mid lane. In fact, who else is that? It's CTM being chased down by Moon and Rogi, but they'll have to let him go. It's top. They even found Palos. Another great kill here for SMG. They're gonna lose KB out, but they've already found 3 different heroes. And now with that, they should be able to secure this tier 3 tower.
It's a buyback on Palos, but still
Balance
gonna
out.
keep that pace up.
Mid 1, can he actually stick around? CTM with the impetus. He's doing a fair bit of damage. They'll try to keep him healthy. Give him a reset to go back in. Boundless strike out. He'll go in onto CTM, but he's got the heal available. Yopaj, he'll move in. Rogi, you've got to be careful, but he does have that borrowed time, and now the Desolator hits Moon. He is just annihilating Yopaj in that Snapfire. Eventually back in onto that top racks, and they should be able to claim it. No problem. Now it's all about just trying to get yourself out. In fact, never mind. Why not just go back in? They've got Tim's down, and they've got CTM, I think. That Glimmer Cape surely does... No, it does save him. Boundless off the mark. FBC looking to move back in, but can he get a nice lasso off? Not quite. So 1 lane of barracks down. Do they want to keep playing with fire here, SMG? Looks like the answer should be no.
They play it safe. No reason to rush to high ground. They take the network lead their way. Less than 1k, not an amazing amount of gold, but it does set them up nicely. With 1 racks constantly shoving in, 1 lane constantly shoving in, Boom has to always keep an eye out on top. And you can see SMG, they've got really good aggressive wards on the high ground. Just watching the movements, watching the defenders coming through. They've even got the ramp ward as well, which is outside of sentry range. Very tricky spot to de-ward. That should allow them to sneak through if they want to. Still, speaking of sneaking around, Boom, they are smoked up. So they're going to try to make something happen. They don't have great forward vision, though. This is fairly blind if they do make a foray into the opposite side of the river.
SMG. Moonlight Shadow is there. They will be under the guise of the invisibility from Moon. In the end, they will see KB farming a creep wave, so they know this is happening. Moonlight will wear off. Boom. They'll have their smoke wear off. They do have another on CTM if they want to go for a secondary smoke, but I suppose at this point it does seem fairly obvious. Of course, both teams right now are going to be playing for the next Roshan. Boom. Now starting to move in that mid lane. Pings immediately out on Palos as KP was looking for a rupture. Doesn't quite get it, but they've got the Purge on FBZ. Gleipnir out as well into the Boundless Strike, and that'll be enough. However, Impel Moon, he'll BKB up and be just fine. Wukong's command is there. They're surrounding Tims, and they've even got the Nyx Assassin. Another great pickup as KP. He will rush forward for the rupture out, and he's got the real Palos. That's the target you want. But can they deal with him? Gleipnir there, illusions, they are falling. Mid 1, trying to chase him down. Palos still trying to be as elusive as possible. He'll rush forward onto Yopaj. KP about to drop, but the balance is there. They've locked down Palos. Surely they get the kill, and they do. There is a buyback available, but they might be able to force it here on the side of SMG.
They've got the numbers advantage. They can just look to pressure high ground. Respawns are coming through, though. In about 10 seconds and 20 seconds for 2 heroes on Boom. So they're not going to be out for too long. Roshan's a bit of a longer timer as well. 2 minutes 20 on that timer, and SMG's not going to be able to play for that objective. So going to have to just force high ground. Buyback is probably going to have to be forced out here.
CTM, he's going to survive with the Glimmer Cape. Tims will try to drag this out with the Aghanim Scepter, but he's already taking so much damage from Moon and mid 1. They're just going right to work. Cookie's there, but it's not going to be enough. He's down already. CTM, just with the impetus alone, is trying to hold them all back. And they really don't want to commit the buyback on Palos. I suppose considering how behind he is on farm in comparison to mid 1 right now, you kind of need all the gold you can get if you are Palos.
Like, it's such a massive loss if they buy back because it's gonna delay out that heart timing, and that heart feels like it's gonna be key in maintaining the presence of PL up front. If you can just tank through the hits, slowly but surely chip away on Monkey King, burn the mana of these heroes, and they can sort of clean up on Boom's side. So as much as possible, you want to allow Palos to hit those spikes. And they at least successfully defend the high ground. Not much to be lost there. Tier 3 is down to less than half HP, so it is kind of vulnerable in the next shove out. But you're also stalling out for Yopaj as well to an extent, Mike. Like the level 25 talent you talked about, just a level away. That's still a lot of EXP, like 2000 EXP. But once the low shredder starts bouncing around, and once you get that silver edge up with a crit, it will feel a lot easier to get some damage off on Yopaj. So you're finding some options here for Boom. They're lagging behind a bit, but not by a huge margin. 4K at 36 minutes is not the biggest lead. It's still something you can play with.
Hold that thought, actually. Mid one, gonna jump in. He's kind of alone right now, but his team is making his way over. And FBC's gone again. Just such a hard game for the Batrider, as now Tims has also been caught out. And that's gonna make this high ground defense very difficult. Without that Nix up, they might have time to get the respawn. It looks like instead they may end up losing the Roshan for Boom. So SMG should have first dibs.
Gonna have the huge opening for the Rosh. Is set to respawn. But we've got an unfortunate pause timing here.
So I had a question,
High
John.
ground push has begun. Yeah.
With the Silver Edge, right? Like, if you pop Little Shredder and then go into the Silver Edge, and you have the level 25 talent, so it's a triple Little Shredder shot, does the break apply to 3 different heroes? Because it is using...
Very good question.
Yeah.
I would actually... I would assume it will only apply to the primary target.
Because it's a
There's the off
guaranteed crit
chance
as
that-
well.
Yeah, there's the off chance that it does apply to all 3, so you never know how it's coded. I'm not aware. Because, and as far as I know, that doesn't work with, say a Medusa with her talent for orb
Right.
effects on her attack. Doesn't work there. So assumedly it wouldn't work here, but you never know. You never know with how the coding goes, Mike.
No, that you don't, John. That you don't. Still, time for that, there's still a lot of time for that level 25 moment, and in fact, the game may not even last that long with the way this game's gone. I mean, SMG, 6k ahead. Dota Plus is saying they've got an 85% chance win probability right now, and I'd have to agree with those numbers. And Palos in the PL, like, he's been trying his best, but even with the farm, it just feels like mid one's so much stronger on this Monkey King. Especially if he has that Wukong's command. And I think when you give props to the supports as well of SMG, like, these disruptions and aphotic shields from Rogi and Arfu, they've just been so difficult to work with. And you pointed this out earlier, but FBZ, he doesn't even feel like a hero right now. He's just not able to get anything done on the Batrider against these supports.
Yeah, it's not even a game for FBZ, I'd say, at this point. Like, he got one good lasso on the high ground defense up top that dragged mid one behind the tier 3, behind a rack, so that allowed him to get some hits off. Beyond that one lasso, it's been next to impossible for him to have any sort of front control. And it does feel like he needs a BKB to at least maintain presence. That was a lot of disconnects and reconnects from Yopaj. They're going to be trying to reset his internet. So, unfortunately, it looks like if he has switched carriers, it's nowhere better off.
No, I suppose not, unfortunately. I was
I mean,
asking
to
you
be
this,
fair,
like,
again.
what is it? John?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, right? I said it was something Gabby was particularly mad about. I think his stream title was so-and-so ISP equals bad player or DC. Something. That was his stream title, and he's just so upset. Wait, what? No, SMG knows.
Uh-oh.
I got knows Zex.
Yeah, Moon's like, wait a minute, what? Wait, nobody said ready. I mean, he does have a point, John. He's following the rule book.
Wow, that is so. Wow. All right. I guess I've got to take a peek at that rule book because they don't look very happy now.
No, I mean, I don't blame SMG. How are they meant to know?
Because we've never had that. Never. Like, immediately on the reconnect, it's
Do you
usually the other
remember
timer. But
the $1 million
oh well.
dream code?
You were saying, Mike. You were saying.
I was asking you a couple months ago if you guys had gotten like 5G access in the Philippines yet? Or at least where you are, because you're nearby Yopaj.
Yeah, no, I think we do. My dad keeps hollering at me about buying a new SIM card, and just for him particularly, because he has like a lot of business calls. Buying a 5G pocket Wi-Fi router
Right.
and trying it out. So it is there. I believe we do have like the new ISP, the new telecom company is set up here. And we might be in 5G range because I'm literally right next to the mountain where a lot of the antennas are.
Cool.
So it should be good. Just haven't tested out. I don't know why. Yeah, maybe because we can't really go out and check the offices out, or my dad just forgets. It's either or.
Right.
But yeah, it's there. It's there. The
Might be an
reception
option.
should be good. I have a feeling in my body that the reception's good.
Well, that might be an option for you too, Jonathan, considering your internet as well. I think you and your pa should have a chat about the 5G opportunities.
It's been up and down. It's been
Right.
up and down, but honestly, casting to the phone has been okay. Although, yeah, it would be better if that was 5G. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I believe those pocket routers are still pretty expensive. The SIM itself is not,
Right.
but the routers, and that's a bit
Grabe
pricey.
naman yun.
Well, unfortunately, Yopaj is still having some issues here for Boom Esports, so we'll wait and see how long this is going to take to sort out. Yeah, I mean, 5G, definitely some technology that might be very, very useful for these players very soon, considering the circumstances. Mind you, I mean, I guess if the pandemic comes to an end sooner rather than later, you'll be back in a team house anyway. So you won't really be too concerned about, your own home internet.
Yeah, that does raise the question. Does that mean Boom's team house, will it be majority in Philippines? Because it's like 4 Filipino players. Will they have a HQ here? Or will they fly everyone out to maybe Jakarta or something? That would be an
question.
interesting twist.
That's a very good question.
That'd be it. Honestly, I think, to be fair,
Hmm.
it has to be in Indonesia so
Right.
that the boys can't just speak Filipino and get away with it. FVZ gets to have a little bit more leeway there. Give the guys some love, Bring
You
them
know-
to Indonesia.
He's not getting that though. They're going right to the Philippines. You know what's gonna happen.
For sure. It's exactly how it'll go.
Another topic, John. I tweeted at Skem yesterday. CTM.
Uh-huh.
I asked him, if you win the grand finals tonight, are you gonna get a new tattoo? He did mention. He responded to me that he's gonna get a tattoo no matter what. So lose or win, another tattoo coming out next month for Skem. Okay, Mr. CTM, as we are back into the game now, mid one. They're going to the T3 tower. Glyph forced out, but it is still a 5v3. One of his kisses, he will spend it straight off the bat. It's not going to do too much though. Just trying to zone them out and buy more time for the rest of the team to be up. But SMG, they're not going to back. They'll secure at least one lane of barracks before Tims and FBZ are back up. Another nice objective secure here for SMG. And speaking of objectives, they've also got a Roshan to play for.
It's a nice big objective to take. They scouted out with the arrow. Roshan number 2. Ag Shard Aegis. So it's going to enable them to look for the end game here if they want to. They still have a tier 1 to clear out down bot if they want the Megas. But Boom, they're not resting easy. They smoked up. They want to check out Roshan as well. They've got the Heart and Palos. That stat stacking in PL is up and running.
Palos. Move in, mid one, immediately out with the stun. Tims is going to be there with the impel turnaround. He's low on mana right now. Mid one is still going to go right after Tims. They just burst him down so quick. Moon, he's got so much damage with the Leap Desolator. CTM. Slow it up, but there's your lasso out. They've got the target. Disruption is going to be there in time. Arfu, he may have saved the day, or maybe not, because the flame break is there, but mid one, again with the BKB, is going to be fine. Instead, they'll focus down Moon on the Mirana, and they might just get him. Moon's down. No buyback for him, nor is there one for Arfu, and now Rogi's gone. Though he does have a buyback. But they did not secure Roshan. And that will mean Boom Esports will be the ones to go after it. And that's a Roshan with the shards up.
It's a big, big take here for Boom. SMG. I have to ask. I don't know why mid-one is feeling so confident running in with no mana. Like, if he doesn't get the Wukong's command off, it feels like they lack a lot of AoE control, and he didn't manage to use that spell. So that was a big opening for Boom. They get some good punishment in. Roshan going to be up for them now as well. Interested to see who they do give the shard to. Paulus already has his. Perhaps he just hand it over to Yopaj for the Scatter Blast upgrade. And it does look like we'll go to Yopaj. So he's got that knockback, extra damage on the Scatter Blast. He also has his level 25 mic. So there's that 3 times little shredder. Just needs the Daedalus up to really have those big slapping hits. And that's when SMG might have dragged the game on for too long. They still have answers for these heroes. They still have a way of shutting out the Batrider from even finding lassos, but it looks like from Boom's end, they just need a little bit of a pullback. Not all the way, just enough to line up for, say, a Nyx stun into the Spike Carapace and Impale. And that's enough. That's enough of a window for Boom to really melt them down. And these fights are taking a lot longer now. As we mentioned in the last few games with PL, like, a Phantom Lancer enjoys longer drawn-out fights because you always get more illusions, you burn out mana, they run out of spells, and just kill them by 1,000 cuts.
Absolutely, Palos. Move in. T2 top tower. Gonna drop.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Smoke out there from SMG, but it is a smoke-on-smoke situation between these two.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
TP in, Palos, that's a very confident TP. Arrow's not going to connect, mid one, still going to go for the man fight with the Wukong's command out. Palos, who is he going after? He'll try after KP, but he's taking so much damage. But now the lasso, they've got mid one, nothing to cancel that off. FBZ, he might eventually drop. He tries for the TP, but won't make it out. Still, Tim's back in with mid one, getting so much damage out. Wukong's command and the Boundless Strike does land on the PL. Nobody's actually dying yet, apart from Tim's. And FBZ, who bought back. Arfu, he will eventually drop. It does turn out to be a very messy engagement. A 2-for-1 trade, though, in the favor of SMG. That's about all they're going to get, though. No core kills. But, well, I guess they got FBZ, but, you know, the Batrider really just doesn't have a game right now, so I can't even consider him a core at the moment.
It's a fair assessment. I don't think it's the biggest deal now for FBZ to just kind of put his body forward, get a lasso, see what happens, try to see how far he can drag him back, and hope for the best. Boom, still hold onto the Aegis. Key thing now is to get more damage onto Palos. Looks like he will try to go for a Silver Edge himself. So trying to build up some invis, some way of sneaking in and out, and having that guaranteed crit is going to be helpful as well. Just have to see how long it takes him to farm up. He's got a pretty good amount of bank gold right now, so not too far off from that.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is Yopaj. It's still down to our snap to hit Daedalus timing. Damage output's not quite silly yet, but it will be once the Daedalus is up.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you might need more. Like, the stat gain of snap is 3.5 each, but it just doesn't feel like a lot of damage. 174 plus 84 isn't that big, and the crit just makes that nicer, but I'd say a bigger stick is needed here.
Mid one, he's very deep right now. Gonna be alright, just trying to sneak his way in with the Moonlight Shadow. Cookie, Yopaj, this could be a bad time as mid one has caught him, but FBZ, he's there with the lasso. Yopaj, he got ruptured up, but he's gonna try and tip in. The bash comes out. KP's got him. He'll buy back on the Snapfire. Mid one, he may have gone too deep here, John. He's gonna Satanic soon, I hope. So the BKB has been popped. He does go for the life still, but Satanic is still there. He doesn't even need it. Tim's, he's down without buyback on that Nyx Assassin. And mid one, and Palos is gonna try and man fight here. Mortimer's Kiss is flying in mid one. He's out of mana, he's out of monkeys, and he is gonna go down. Eventually, the man fight pays off for the PL as FBZ still chasing down KP on the Bloodseeker. The Basher forcing the buyback out from Yopaj as they will eventually come back to get Rogi. But first hit bash from KP.
Yeah, you gotta love that luck. And Yopaj, well, the buyback still kind of works. They prevent any sort of push. There are no objectives they lose. They managed to force the dieback on the Abaddon and find a big kill on the Monkey King as well. So they're keeping mid one down a bit longer. They prevent the high ground, and they still have Aegis somehow. Like, Palos actually just didn't die So he gets to keep that push down mid, find the last outer tower here, and Boom still have the opportunity to maybe even consider high ground. Look for a forced buyback. Is a bit risky, as if your Podge falls, that could be the end of the game, and the Aegis does expire. So you don't have the safety net for second life. They will try though.
Moon, be careful, he'll leap away. Palos, he's onto that tier 3 tower now. Gleipnir, help out a little bit in clearing out those illusions. Mid one, he doesn't want to commit the buyback yet. Only 20 seconds left. And if he only loses a tier 3 tower, it's not too big of a deal. That'll be gone. Palos, he'll keep moving forward. He wants the full racks taken. In fact, they could try and force a team fight here if they're feeling really cheeky. But mid one's going to be up in 4. They are still going to be lacking Rogi. But it might be enough for Boom Esports to pay respect to SMG and back out. Even with the 4v5. But they're waiting around. FBZ hoping for a really nice lasso on the Batrider. The split shot arrows going to be quite painful in the middle of a team fight. FBZ's popped the Firefly. You'd love to catch Moon right now, but he's got the backup of Arfu and Rogi. Very, very soon. And in the end, Boom, they'll TP out, they'll disengage. And quite frankly, just finding one Rax with the way this game's been going is probably great news for them.
It's a sign of life. They get to equalize just one lane a little bit better. They have one lane less to worry about if it does shove in. Managed to stall out long enough that they do get the Silver Edge up on Palos. But that's the full Daedalus up for mid one. So his damage output skyrocketing, but so does the Opage.
Uh-oh.
Daedalus up as well. So we'll see how much that little Shredder will do now, because it's time for the big boss Grandma.
Uh-oh, this could be scary. We'll see. Shout out to Brian and Jeff, by the way, who aren't watching the grand finals right now. Just got a cheeky little message, John. You know the Brian I'm talking about, Brian Ocampo.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
Yeah. Shout out to everyone watching, by the way. Love you guys. Smoke up, Boom Esports. Big 5-man smoke up. In the mid lane, SMG. Now under the guise of that Moonlight Shadow. The mid one, trying to bait forward the side of Boom Esports. Could be a very risky maneuver. Palos is trying to close the gap here on that PL. Ninja gear and everything up. He's going to move in. Arfu, no, quick blink away. Can't afford to die on that Shadow Demon right now as mid one. Gonna get jumped on, or in fact, he's doing the jumping. Onto Palos he goes. He'd love to get that PL, but they are not going to allow it. Palos is out. Mid one's still very confident with his position.
Radiant are scanning.
And it looks like Boom Esports, they're going to disengage and find a better way into this fight. But it's an immediate smoke up and a rush forward here from SMG onto CTM, and that's a great boundless strike. It crits as well. Tim's is in trouble. They're both going to drop on the supports. It's now Palos. He's a sitting duck and he's gone. He'll have buyback, and so will Tim's, but not CTM.
I think this Enchantress is not a big issue, so at least you have the buyback on the two big heroes that need to be there for the defense. You absolutely need Tim's for the burrow and the control, and SMG realizes this is a big opening, which is going for tier 4s.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to force the buybacks. In a game like this, so much on the line here between these two teams. Every little inch kind of matters. You saw that Daedalus up now on mid one. The damage is no longer an issue. Moonlight Shadow out. They're going to try and force these tier 4s no matter what. Flame Break is there. Mid one. Immediate Wukong's command out. That area denial around the Roshan pit as the cliff is going to be forced, but Lasso is there. There's nothing to cancel Lasso off. They've got the Mortimer's Kisses flying as well. He needs to pop that Satanic. Mid one. He'll get into the fountain and he'll get rid of FBZ. 3 down already. Boom Esports not looking great here. They'll find Rogi. Meanwhile, Yapash trying to find mid one in the tree line, but is unable to scout him out.
Dire's middle tower.
They do defend the high ground, but it's still a 4 versus 2. And the Ancient is completely exposed.
Dire's bottom tower is
Oh
under
yeah,
attack.
it's a scary spot for Boom. Respawns are still a bit long. They're only going to have the Enchantress respawn really coming in soon. Still a massive opportunity for SMG. And look for the safe play, look for the Megas first, and completely shut this game out. Quick BKB coming through though.
Oh, Palos, he got scouted. The arrow's gonna connect. He's gone. Or is he? Doppel's there in time, but it doesn't matter. Oh, the sentry ward was there. He thought he was in biz. This game could just be over as Yopaj goes down. SMG, they will win game 3, and this grand final will continue.
Oh, they managed to hold out there on SMG's side. Boom. I don't know about it. Like, it feels like there was issues from the draft. I think giving FBZ the Bat Rider, despite having the Abaddon, despite having the Shadow Demon on hand, it was way too confident, and it was definitely punished. Like, there was just no game coming out from FBZ. He still got some decent lassos going, pulling back, especially in the top defense, pulling mid one all the way back behind racks. But in the end, it just wasn't enough. The Phantom Lancer Sakura just doesn't feel amazing, even though on paper there were ways for pilots to play against mid one. He didn't have the early impact. He didn't have the farming pace to really overtake early on. And it just couldn't keep up. So I think for both sides, they might have to look away from the Phantom Lancer, even if it does look like it could be a decent game, and run from there. But SMG, great job bouncing back in. They will force a game number 4 at the least.
Thankfully, too. I hate clean sweeps in grand finals. So game 4 coming up between these two great teams. We are going to head to a very short break. 10 minutes, in fact, and right after that 10-minute break, we're going to be back with game number 4 of this best of 5 grand final.